Hide not your face, O Lord, I seek your face. I will seek your face, O Lord, hide not your face. My soul thirsts for the living God. These are words from the Psalms that you should repeat over and over again throughout the coming days. There's a necessary mortification of the senses, the eyes and hearing, not to be walking around, kind of distracted or pouring yourself outwards onto created things. Your focus should be interior. There's a mortification, even in the posture, in the way we are in the chapel, the way we are when we walk in the passageways. Sometimes if I'm giving a retreat like this to a group of young men, and you see one of them in the middle of one of the quiet periods or the free time periods, which are not free times to rest from prayer, but to rest in prayer. And you see him running down the corridor as if he were whatever in the gymnasium. Well, you have to conclude he has lost the spirit of recollection. He's lost the spirit of prayer. We can be measured by our capacity for silence. If you see someone in the chapel that walks in that's just constantly looking around the place and there's no focus, well, that person is superficial. He doesn't have a capacity for prayer, for capacity for silence. And the capacity for silence is an essential first step, external silence, in order to cultivate interior silence, which is not a silence of emptiness like Buddhism, in order to remain empty and to be dissolved into the universe or whatever it is. It's an emptiness to be filled by the presence of God and by the voice of Christ. So that's what we're looking towards. St. Teresa said, "To find yourself, you must do it in me, and to find me, you must do it in you." To find yourself, you must do it in me. That's God speaking. You can put a capital M on that me. To find yourself, you must do it in me. And to find me, you must do it in you, in yourself. So there's a call to interiority here, and not to be, like I say, poured out on external things. To introduce us to this mystery of prayer, to this milieu of prayer, we're going to meditate on the episode of Naaman the Syrian in the second book of Kings, chapter 5, the cure of Naaman the Syrian. 2 Kings 5, 1 to 15, more or less. 2 Kings 5, 1 to 15. And the passage begins, the chapter begins saying, Naaman, the army commander of the king of Aram, was highly esteemed and respected by his master, for through him the Lord had brought victory to Aram. So we're talking about a man of prestige, military leader, commander, winner of many important battles. A hero for his people. But valiant as he was, the man was a leper. So great military commanders and heroes are not immune from leprosy. And already there's a teaching for us in all of this, obviously. The fragility of life and the vanity of prestige and power. And we all are susceptible to sickness and death. No matter how no matter what level of social esteem or military esteem or whatever we may have reached. There's a vulnerability about the human condition. Valiant as he was, the man was a leper. The sacred author is already communicating all of this to us with a minimum of words. Now the Arameans had captured from the land of Israel in a raid a little girl who became the servant of Naaman's wife. If only my master would present himself to the prophet in Samaria, she said to her mistress, he would cure him of his leprosy. So God is already acting in the very first verses of this account through the little people. By that I don't mean the fairies. I mean people who are small and simple, servants in the king's court. A girl captured in a raid, the servant of Naaman's wife. Naaman must have been a good man because his servants care about his health. He would cure him of his leprosy. Naaman went and told his lord just what the slave girl from the land of Israel had told his wife. Go, said the king of Aram, I will send along a letter to the king of Israel. So Naaman set out, taking along 10 silver talents, 6,000 gold pieces, and 10 festal garments. To the king of Israel he brought the letter, which read, with this letter I am sending my servant Naaman to you, that you may cure him of his leprosy. Naaman's wife's servant, the girl who had been kidnapped in a raid and made a slave, is aware of the presence of a man of God in the people of Israel, the chosen people of God, who has special powers. The name of that man is Elisha, the prophet. When he read the letter, the king of Israel tore his garments and exclaimed, am I a God with power over life and death? This man should send someone to me to be cured of leprosy. He thinks the man is coming to him, and it's all some kind of a black flag operation, or what do you call it? Yeah, dark. I forget now, but some kind of a tactic to initiate war. Take note, you can see he is only looking for a quarrel with me. When Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his garments, he sent word to the king, why have you torn your garments? Let him come to me and find out that there is a prophet in Israel. Naaman came with his horses and chariots, paraphernalia of power and prestige, self-importance, and with his, what did we hear earlier? His 10 silver talents, his 6,000 gold pieces, his 10 festal garments, pomp and power, paraphernalia of power to impress. Is it tomorrow they're going to have the ceremony of the crowning of King Charles? And we're going to be barraged for 24 hours with all that pomp and horses and chariots. The prophet sent him the message. The prophet sent him the message. He didn't even appear on the scene. Go and wash 7 times in the Jordan, and your flesh will heal, and you will be clean. But Naaman went away angry because God and the man of God did not respond to his expectations. All of this is speaking to us, by the way, at the beginning of our retreat. What are your expectations? What is your approach? How will God wish to speak to you? He went away angry, saying, I thought that he would surely come out and stand there to invoke the Lord his God, and would move his hand over the spot and thus cure the leprosy. I wonder where the spot was. was it? I think leprosy usually begins in the extremities, the hands and the feet and the nose and the ears. So maybe he was expecting some kind of an ear massage. And that the prophet would close his eyes and he would pray and invoke the God of Israel to send down his power upon the, etc., etc. Anyway, those were his expectations. Are not the rivers of Damascus, the Abana and the Pharpar, better than all the waters of Israel? There's a lesson there for us about tribalism. It's one of the great battles that Christ had with the Jews. Every page of the gospel is full of it. The refusal to open our hearts to have Catholic hearts. Catholic means universal, open to everyone. How we lock ourselves into our little tribes, our nationalisms, our regionalisms, our separatisms, and we fail to have Catholic hearts. Could I not wash in them and be cleansed? With this he turned about in anger and left. A hissy fit, they call it in America. He had a little hissy fit. Like a cat, you know. The cats go when they get angry. But his servants, here again we have it, the servants came up and reasoned with him. My father, they said. Wow. My father, they said. Like I say, even in the midst of his military pride and arrogance and pomposity, he must have been a good man. My father, they said, if the prophet had told you to do something extraordinary, would you not have done it? All the more now, since he said to you, wash and be clean, should you do as he said. As far as I recall, I'm not seeing it here now in the English translation. Yeah, but it is here. Elisha sent down a messenger. Yeah, he didn't come down himself. He just sent down a messenger. So the prophet didn't even come down with the message. All the more now, since he said, wash and be clean, should you do as he said? Who's the messenger here, and who's the prophet? And who's Naaman? Father Dominic is Elisha, and I'm his little messenger boy. And Father Dominic, on behalf of God, has sent me to talk to you and to tell you what to do. And what is it that you're going to be told to do? What is it that you're being told to do? What's the name of the river here? The River Nor? Wash yourself in the River Nor tomorrow? Maybe tonight? So Naaman went down and plunged into the Jordan. Plunge into prayer. That's a key word here. 7 times. 7 is the word of plenitude and perfection in the sacred scriptures. You all know the story about Father Henry and about how he was ordained on the 7th of the 7th of the 7th, 7th day of the 7th month of the 7th year of the 3rd millennium. He won the spiritual lottery, 777, jackpot. Over and over again, the letter 7 appears throughout the history of salvation. It has a huge importance. So when he's being told 7 times, it's again insisting in this nuance and this aspect of plunging. It's a dynamic of totality. As Sister Claire would have said, all or nothing. All or nothing. For the spiritual exercises, in order for him to give himself totally to you, you must give yourself totally to him. with your sinfulness and your brokenness and your wretchedness and your weakness and your distractions, all of that, all of it. So Naaman went down and plunged into the Jordan 7 times at the word of the man of God. His flesh became again like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. He returned with his whole retinue to the man of God. On his arrival, he stood before him and said, "Now I know that there is no God in all the earth except in Israel. Please accept a gift from your servant." "I will not take it," Elisha replied. And despite Naaman's urging, he still refused.